Yes, you are, Mr. Sadie. First, furs. No, your furs. There it is, the T. How you doing, Mr. Sadie? Larry, we're just glad to be here. I'm just glad to be here. 8 o'clock. Taco Tuesday. I got nothing to talk about. I got a little bit to talk about. What you got, Mr. Sadie? Anything good happening in Sadie world? Yeah, I'm pretty well. Gwen's getting over her sick. She been sick, sickly girl. Not bad, just sick. Probably a cold. Yeah, cold or the flu. It's kind of sad when you think. Used to we would be like, oh, I got the flu, I'm gonna die. And now it's like the flu is no big deal. We've been in COVID for so long. It's nearly February, and we've been in the COVID for nearly 2 years on all the shutdowns and shortages and masks and shots and grumpy old man. Hey, bum crack picker. Hmm. Yep, yep. I'm here all by myself. Nobody wants to come in and BS with me. Here, I'll put the link in the side chat if anybody wants to come on and do some live chatting because I'm boring by myself. Unless you guys give me some topics. What's the topic for today? Didn't notice mute was on. Dang bearded. As much YouTube as you do, you ought to have it figured out by now, right? Is it okay? Yeah. So, I got nothing to talk about. Except I do have a few auction pickups. I can show those. Mute was on. It's pretty boring with the sound on. Yeah. 'Cause especially when I'm by myself, I feel kind of self-conscious, you know. I don't see how you do it, Scott. You can just talk. But it's weird. You call yourself an introvert, but when you get on YouTube and start talking by yourself, you're just like bubbly. You're like perky. Perky bearded picker. He just perky when he's talking. Yeah, Scott, let's have a good rant. What you got to rant about? Here he is right now. Aha.
I gotta go.
Aha.
I had to go mute again.
Oh man. How you
Yes,
been?
I hate starting the show by myself, so I at least I just woke
Yeah,
up, so you have to forgive me.
that's all right. It's always good to have another bald head in the room.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here in the recliner, so yeah.
That's all right. If you nod off, I understand because people tell me on my videos every once in a while, you're kind of boring. Or I look at my YouTube videos and I look at the watch time and I'll have like a 12-minute video and the average watch time will be like 3 minutes. It's
Yeah,
funny.
you got to get to the point pretty quick to give them a reason to stay around, or they don't stay around.
Yeah, I got no point. There's no point in watching my videos.
Today,
But
yesterday was an amazing day. So Larry said, ran about something. Did you ever think that you would hear on a live broadcast the president of the United States call someone a stupid son of a bitch?
I saw that. Where was that? That was
It was
oh, a
a Fox.
friend sent me that link. Yeah.
Yes, it was a Fox reporter, Ducey. His dad is on Fox and Friends in the Morning. Steve Ducey, that's his son. So, second generation reporter for the White House.
Yeah. He's a but he's just a stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah, you wonder how the White House what they're going to do about this because okay, so it probably happened before, but in this day and age, whenever everything is social media, I mean everything is instant. Everything, yeah, he's not. He's going to have to issue an apology, or they're because somebody's going to ask about it today.
Yeah, it's gonna be jeez. It's gonna be nuts. The inflation just keeps going. And the stock market has started coming down. All the free money's gone.
Yeah, so crypto has come way down too. Crypto has lost a ton of money in the last few days.
Yep.
Hey,
Gold and silver have held steady, but
Well, I mean that's a good topic for you to talk about, Todd. Is gold and silver has been currency forever, and it just has true value that will hold. Is it manipulated? Absolutely, they manipulate gold and silver because they have such. But in the end, it is the one you better protect yourself and hold some gold and silver through it. If it beats inflation.
yeah. I mean, I don't have everything in gold and silver, but I've got some. Anyway, speaking of silver, went to auction and got a few pieces of silver jewelry. I can't stay away from this stuff. I just like if they got silver in an auction, I'm bidding on it.
no,
You
you
buy
don't.
stuff from auction, Scott?
Yeah, we actually, Harlan and I do that local auction here that we take stuff to. So I bid in that auction. I don't know how yours are, but it's been very tough. People have been very aggressive in these auctions. The value of used items is that's the good thing about our business. As new stuff gets harder and more expensive, it raises the value of what people will pay for used items.
Yeah.
And I picked up a little Nintendo Game Boy Advance, a little GBA, and it was the weirdest thing. They had it listed as a Alabama memorabilia and Game Boy, and it was 2,000 items in the auction. It was like number 1,700 and something. So it's way at the back, and I looked at it as I was watching, waiting for my stuff to sell. I'm like, Harlan, holy crap, this is a GBA because they're worth about 100. They're worth 100 if it's the 001, and the 101 is worth about 130, 140. And it had 3 games with it. One of the games was a Pokemon game. I've already sold for 120. Um, and I paid $28 for it. Nobody else. One other person. I found it at 22. I put a reserve of like 70. One other person bid one time the 25, and I got it for 27. So I bid on that one every week. Just
Yeah, I mean, our local auction, you have to be picky,
yeah,
but I don't think anybody noticed this was a signed Navajo piece. People were just thought it was another silver brooch, but that signed Navajo stuff is like this piece.
Oh, nice.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
this big ass. But
Hmm.
it's I went to the auction preview and this is it's got a you can't see it with my camera, but it's signed and it's Mark Sterling. and looked up the Navajo artist and looked him up on eBay. And recent sale of this was one like this was like $250.
Hmm.
Yes.
So I had to pay up for this. This was 110. But if you can double your money on a piece of silver, you did good.
Yeah. So Larry asked, do I always go? So it's online only, Larry. So I just do it every Thursday. Um, I do the preview like yesterday. It's like the way it works is every other Monday I take my stuff up there, and so the other week is already there, and it's so if it's Monday morning, it's going to end this coming Thursday. And so if I go a little later, like I didn't get home yesterday till like 11 o'clock in the morning, so I was there a couple hours later than I normally am. About 75% of the new side is up, so I can look at the one side and then look at the one everybody's bringing right now. So I see most of it about every other week, so that helps me a bit on it.
Nice. Hey, Scott, thanks for pointing out those little cameras. I got one day before yesterday. Let me look at what it.
Yeah, I picked up on. But I did a video. And if anybody, the last video I did on an estate sale, I picked up one, and I didn't say what it was. I just said, "Well, I'll be damned," and I left people to they have to figure out what it was because I'm not going to tell the people around here that camera is a. Because I keep
Good
thinking,
idea.
how many of these Olympus cameras have I missed? Because I found in the last 2 months, I found 8 of them.
Man,
Oh.
I've been looking.
They're black, and sometimes they're black, sometimes they're silver. So I found another one. Yeah, I found another one at the estate sale last Thursday. I looked down the bottom shelf. There was a pair of binoculars and a camera, so I picked them both up. And I'm like, I flip it over. I'm like, well, I'll be damned. That's not. I was I was 2 hours after the start of the thing, so nobody knows about them. So I'm not telling them.
Yeah, check it out. I just got this day before yesterday.
Yep, that's the exact one I picked up. That Zoom.
Well, I found out there were like some different models to this, and this isn't the high dollar one.
No, that's the 80 Zoom. So the high dollar one is just a plain infinity. For some reason, that doesn't have the big zoom capabilities. I don't know why.
But these, I'm about average on the price I'm asking there.
Yeah, it'll sell. It won't last very long.
But thanks for pointing those out. I don't know what video you were sharing it on or whatever, live chat or something.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was
I
over
was
here.
at that estate sale. I got that for $2. $2.
Yeah, $2. I actually had to pay up for mine. I paid. Nobody probably bought it because it was 10. I'm like, okay, 10. You got me 10.
Hey, Cyber, what you doing?
Hey, Cyber.
Morning, guys.
Yeah, you were talked about on Todd's show and tell on the camera, Scott.
Mike, I don't know what kind of lens they got in them. Mine's out. My other one's outside, or I'd go tell you. But it's just that Olympus. Anything in that in the Infinity series is worth good money generally. The cheapest one I've sold is like 79. It was, and that one was some funky name on it. It was Acura, but it had an extra C in it. Was the model ACCURA?
But yeah, I had a good auction to go to, and I had a good estate sale to go to this past several days.
Like
I had so much stuff.
when I previewed the auction yesterday when I was dropping off, there is a Canon camera in it way in the back. It's for this Thursday. It's a Canon Sure Shot a Sure Shot Ace. I'd never seen one, and I look at all the electronics, and so I'm like, this thing's got to be worth money. Yeah, that's like a $95 Sure Shot in that auction. So hopefully nobody else knows it's worth money.
Does anybody sell 45 records? These were cheap at the auction, so I bought it. I don't know what all I've got.
It reminds me of the late '70s, early '80s.
Sheila E. Hooters. We got Hooters on this show.
Mm.
I never heard of a bunch of these. General public.
Those are the ones you've never heard of. Would be the ones people want because, I mean, like anything else. So,
Look how young Rick Springfield is here.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So Johnny, that was Johnny's heartthrob in the '70s and '80s, and every day when he'll be on TV every now and then, Johnny's like, I can't believe he's in his '70s.
I know. Yeah, I have no idea who Glenn Fry is.
Yeah, me either. You think he was an eagle or something?
There's a Spanish one. Centipede. Never heard of Centipede.
Yes, one of the more interesting things when I've been doing all this traveling is the first time I drove to Vegas, I'm just hauling ass down the I-40, trying to get there, and the sign comes up and says Winslow, Arizona. I'm like, well, son of a bitch, that's a real place. I did not know. So I go rolling in there, and they've got the whole big display with the truck on the side, on the corner, and all that stuff. Pretty neat little tourist area, but you learn who the Eagles are.
Yep. Man, I never heard of most of these. I've heard of Heart. There's Heart. Remember the '80s hair?
Yeah, they were actually really good in the '70s.
Destination Unknown.
That's Missing Persons. Yeah, they were an '80s group.
There's some old ones in here. Some Peggy Lee and Autograph. You ever heard of Autograph?
Yeah, Radio Star was there. They had a huge MTV hit.
Okay.
I must be too young.
Yeah, you actually had their big hit, Turn Up the Radio. That's yeah, you'll recognize the song. I won't like get you copyright or anything, but
Yeah.
Well, those are all records.
Yeah, these are 45 RPM.
can y'all hear that song? I mean, I'm sure y'all heard it. That's
Yeah.
that's Autograph. They were a hair band in the '80s.
Wild Cherry. Play that funky music. I don't know. I'll probably lot a bunch of these together and make a little bit.
Some of the ones with the picture sleeves might be worth looking up, but
That's fun stuff.
Here we go. Tina Turner. Another Tina Turner.
yeah. So when I went to bed last night, Johnny was watching. She was watching the Golden Girls. She watches them about every night, and she's like, "You realize they were our age when they started the show?" I'm like, and now they're all gone. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're full of cheer tonight."
Aretha Franklin. Yeah. Paul Young. I've heard of him.
Yeah, you got some good ones. I just don't know records and know what what's. I know
Louie
record
Louie.
collectors. They're very picky about the records and condition.
We gotta go. Yeah. Louie Louie.
I think it just depends on what you got. Just like
Yeah.
a CD.
I have to test all these. Get out my record player and test them all. Oops, sorry, Nikki. I didn't see you there.
So
You were in here a minute.
one of the good trivia questions you see every now and then is somebody will put one of the little disc on there and they'll ask, "What the hell is this?" And it's the little thing that goes on a turntable that allows you to play a 45.
Yeah.
How
Little.
this? They'll hold it up and say, "This is how old you are. If you know what this is." Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a record player that has that little spacer that goes on the turntable.
Yeah, I had a Marantz turntable. I guess I saw it 6 months ago. Just that little piece was worth like $60 because that thing gets lost so much on, and it had Marantz on it, so it was a high end machine. I got $450 for the machine.
Wow. And those things would be interchangeable. I don't know why somebody would pay so much for that.
Because a collector who's going to pay $450 for that thing wants the original one.
I guess so. Yeah.
So it was in such good shape. The guy bought it. His dad as a birthday present. He was buying it for him and his brothers and sisters to give to his dad as a birthday present, and was asking me about shipping. I'm like, man, I'll get this to you. You ain't got to worry about it. It'll get there. I'll separate the lid. But he was asking about it. I'm like, I don't. It plays, but the needle sucks, and that's the only thing I know is wrong with it. It probably needs a new needle, and I got a lot of communication and great feedback about shipping. And you're exactly right. You're 100% described. And I replaced the needle, and it sounds wonderful. I put a new belt on it, but I didn't have a needle to put on it.
Yep. Yeah, Cyber, you need to, Cyber Curtain Twitcher, you need to go to Mr. Sadie's video of him showing his workshop. Cyber's a master restorer of old buildings in England.
Oh, that's cool. So he shows that on his YouTube channel?
A little bit. He's restored some clocks, and he doesn't show a whole lot about what he does in his work, but because he's a gold and silver guy, he mostly shows coins.
So Anissa says she sees that Neil Young wants all his songs off Spotify if they don't remove Joe Rogan. I think we told that SOB once before. A Southern man don't need him around anymore. Didn't we tell him that?
Just think about all the cool stuff he would have to sell on eBay by restoring old buildings. All the architectural stuff.
Oh yeah, he probably. There's no telling what all he runs across that he could sell on eBay.
Yeah.
But he's got some clients that must have deep pockets because he does some. I mean, he's a master of taking like the framework around old doors and restoring them.
Right.
Rebuilding staircases. He does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So on TikTok, I follow this person that bought an older house, and it was, I guess the house was built in the early 1900s. And by the time when they bought it, it's got all this blue carpet in it, and they pulled up the blue carpet in the first one, and there's amazing hardwood underneath it. The kind, not just like regular hardwood like I've got, but the kind that it's got a design in it with it's kind of squared on around the edges of every room, like almost like it's picture framed in. And they're like, "Holy cow! Can you believe what's under this?" And then the second one, they're running a sander across it. The floors turned out absolutely amazing. Like, how do you cover up beautiful hardwood floors with carpet?
Where did where did Sally and Nikki go? Did I knock them out or something?
They said they were out of here. They couldn't stand either one of us. They were leaving.
Oh, okay.
But
No.
people are strange though. So when we moved to Alabama, the house in North Carolina was built in '61 and had hardwoods throughout. And the old lady who before us, she lived in the house. She was the second owner. She'd been in the house since '60. It was built in '61, so she bought the house in '64, and so she had a path of everywhere she walked. And so we had all the hardwoods refinished before the house was sold, and showed the new buyer, because my mother lives across the street. The first thing she's like, "You're not gonna believe what's in the driveway." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She said, "There's a carpet truck in the driveway." We spent like $2,500 to have every hardwood refinished in the house, and the first they bought it and covered it up with carpet.
Oh, I don't know. Carpet. We're we're getting rid of our carpet in the living, dining. We're doing the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen and laundry room. We're leaving the bedrooms in carpet, but we're getting some of those hardwood look. They're not hard. They're not wood. They're
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that looks like wood.
Yeah,
Tiles.
I'm trying to decide if I can install that stuff, because our only carpet in this house is just in 3 bedrooms, and I really want to take it out of our master bedroom. But real hardwoods are just so damn expensive.
Yep. I retiled our back porch about 10 years ago. Man, that killed my back and knees. I'll never do it again. Putting down tiles and grout and all that stuff. I got too
So
old to be able to do that.
So the carpet in the spare bedroom is not bad. Nobody ever goes in there. Jacob's bedroom, nah. But ours, we've had this new puppy. She's a year old now. She's still not the greatest at potty training, so the carpet in our bedroom is ruined. You have 3 dogs. One of our dogs is senile, so he doesn't have any clue where he's at most of the time. He just walks around in circles. So he's forgotten how to use the bathroom outside half the time. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it happens. They get old and lose it.
Yeah, so we've got a doggy door, and you'll see he knows how to go out the doggy door, but then in a few minutes you'll hear him barking because he can't figure out how to get back in. I sit here and watch him because there's a window by the door, and he'll start jumping up and down, bouncing, and turn around in circles, go back out to the yard, come back in, walk all around the patio, come back in, and still not figure out how to get to the door. The other day, it was so funny. I'm sitting here. Okay, well, it's not really super funny, but you hear something go kabam, something runs into the door. He missed the doggy door and ran into one of the side lights,
Oh no.
and then backed up and went in the doggy door. And so you hear this clunk, then all of a sudden you hear him run in.
Oh, that's sad. Poor little doggy. Look, there's Lag. He always comes in your chats. I don't. Lag, have you ever been on this
He
chat?
never he never turns the camera on. I don't think his mama lets him turn the camera on.
That's right.
He's probably waiting for her to cook him breakfast right now.
Lag is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least that's what he says in the chat every Wednesday morning, that she's just cooking breakfast or something.
So yeah, Biden, that guy's a moron. Somebody's a son of a bitch for talking about inflation.
Mm.
Like, we're supposed to pretend it isn't happening. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how y'all's grocery shelves are, but they're probably 80% full. But what's there is, man, the prices are. They say 7% inflation. Prices are higher than 7%.
yeah.
Like these, since I'm going back on keto again at some point, but I have these almonds I eat, these Blue Diamond almonds, because they're they're not terrible on carb for a little snack. And they were before the stuff started, they were $2.38 a can at Walmart. I bought some yesterday. They were $3.73. And you think that's just $1 and something, Beard? What are you complaining about? Just think about the percentage that is.
That's high. And I read an article about that yeah, there were shortages at the grocery stores, but it's not because it's not out there. There's just been so much sickness that they can't get it delivered to the grocery stores.
And the sheer amount of workers that are, what is it, the third or fourth month in a row that 4 million people have quit jobs. It's just,
Yeah,
people decided they're not going to take anymore, I guess.
it's starting to snowball, just one thing after another.
And now with the truckers in Canada, that we think how much does that truly affect us? But the trade that comes across that border with car parts and different foods and stuff. You eat so many things, and we do so many things. You don't realize they come from Canada. So
Yep.
so Nikki said it took her 3 months to get a CPAP machine. I have one of the recalled machines, and they said it would be a year before they got a replacement to me. A year to get a replacement out.
Dang. Okay, so yeah, we started the Dow Jones off today, -3. It's
I was
lost
about to say
368 points.
it's been held up right now with smoke and mirrors.
Y'all that free money that got pumped into the economy last year were from you know who.
What's with the Republicans and war? What the hell are you talking about, Lag? The Republicans are not in control of anything. They don't have the House. They don't have the Senate. They don't have the White House. So there you go. Last time I checked, of the 34 Republican governors, not a one of them has declared war on anybody. So Larry knows. So they backed off the mandate on the American side for the American truckers, but the Canadian side is the problem Canada has, and the truckers are smart about this. Is there's only 30 million or so Canadians, and they've got the border pretty hemmed up, so they will exert a lot of force. I expect it might take another week, but I expect the Canadian government to fold to the truckers for sure.
Yeah, it may not be a good time to look at the stock market if you're invested. It can make you depressed. Last week or so, it's been horrible. Sadie's lost 8K. I don't know how much I've lost. More than that.
So Lag, you have to understand geopolitics and who the Democrats are aligned with. They're aligned with the central bank, the Federal Reserve. It's not a part of the government. They are a private corporation. And if you look back through history, they have funded both sides of most major wars. And when you have a currency like the U.S. dollar that's in free fall, inflation's out of control, generally you have a war somewhere that kind of straightens all this out. About every 30, 40 years, their system needs to be reset. Imagine that. All of a sudden there's a war. you don't think about it. You know, they say, hey, all these shortages are because there's a war. They don't have a war right now. So now you're seeing the true implosion of the economy. You have a firsthand seat to what happens when you take down an economy.
Yeah. Is Biden going to send any aid to Ukraine?
They were talking yesterday about sending thousands of U.S. troops to the border. This happened during Obama's time too. They tried to. It's almost like they're trying to bait Putin to go into Russia. I think he's smarter than that. You know, the news keeps telling you there's a buildup on the border. They're putting troops on the border with Ukraine. Russia is still their country. It's not a crime that you can put your entire army on one side of the border. It doesn't matter. It's your side of the country. You can do whatever you want to. You know, if he wanted Ukraine, he could have had you. He could take Ukraine anytime he wants Ukraine. So I think a lot of this is kind of a distraction. How do you distract the American people from you know what you're doing with COVID numbers? The interesting thing was, I think it was a CDC study or somebody was a study or the news is coming out. You know, there are certain batches of this vaccine that are worse than others. They can look at the lot. They know what lot numbers are that cause a lot more of these VAERS events. Seems the southern U.S. has had way more than more the regular than more the rest of the United States. And now they're thinking that might have been by design, which is kind of scary to think that they might have targeted an area of the country due to the South is generally a Republican area.
Yep.
So they have taken more of a hit on these bad vaccines, and they did it on purpose.
That's hard to doubt, but I don't know.
I think Mike was asking, did we see what the CDC had put out about? I guess he's assuming about natural immunity is 6 times better than the vaccines. That part, yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's right, Anissa. I
100%.
just spoke to a lady that lives here in town. Her daughter lives on a ranch that is kind of a border ranch with Mexico. And they stopped a busload of people on their ranch. And every one of them had a brand new $3,600 card from the federal government that they could spend on anything they wanted to. They just made a wrong turn and got on their ranch, and they went out there and stopped the bus, kind of like a bunch of ranch hands, kind of like Yellowstone or something.
Well, it's scary. I posted a meme yesterday, which it is true. In the last 80% of the U.S. dollars have been created in the last 2 years.
Yep.
That's scary, folks. At some point, this all catches up with you, and we're at the beginning of it catching up. That's why I say it's a good to be a reseller because, you know, used items, bartering. You know, people go, "How you got so much extra stuff? Well, you need to sell all this stuff." I'm like, at some point, some of this stuff becomes an insurance policy, and everything I buy doesn't go down in value.
Mm-hmm. That's what scares me so much about so many of the resellers sell collectibles and trading cards and video games, and you know, I've made money on video games, but at what point are people going to run out of money for that kind of stuff? Pokemon cards.
You know, it's nice to have a niche, and you can make a lot of money in a niche, but you know, you're much safer to spread out and, you know, have general knowledge and really be able, you walk around with a computer in your hand, you're much more apt to understand, learn values of everything. I'm walking to a thrift store, I
People
look at
might
every
want to
section.
start buying these.
What is that?
A Coleman lantern.
Yeah, I've sold quite a few of those.
I can't stay away from these other. These are fun to tinker with.
Uh,
Try to get them working.
yeah, that
Anyway,
one looks like it's in pretty good shape.
yeah, that one's not all that old. This one's a little older. Let's see if it's got any fuel. Oh, it's got a little fuel. Let's see if it'll pump up. Let's see if I can light it right here live. Feels like the pump needs a little oil on the gasket. Well, I'm getting a little bit. I wonder if I got a match. Matches
Hey,
are kind of a thing of the past, aren't they?
it'd be a viral video if that thing just exploded.
It could do. You watch, I'll try to light this, and Gwen will come in here and say, "What's on fire?"
See, Mike's 100% correct. He says George Soros and friends are giving illegal immigrants cards to come here. I hope people understand who these people are. These are the same folks behind World War II, the Nazis. George Soros was a Nazi. It's the same playbook. It's the same socialist. They tell you, even though socialism in the 20th century killed, 100 million people, they didn't do it right. We're going to do democratic socialism. These are also the same people that tell you that they want depopulation. They put up the guidestones in Georgia. Go read them and how many people they want to go away.
Oh, let's try it.
Todd's showing us some knowledge here.
You may need some new fuel.
And this, every time I see a picture of him, I look at him and think he looks just like the Emperor on Star Wars.
Who does?
George Soros.
Oh,
Or he looks like from Tales of the Crypt. Yeah, he looks like that guy too.
Palpatine, whatever his name was.
Yeah. So is this one you're keeping, or are you gonna sell this one?
I'll sell them. Have to do some more tinkering on that one, I guess. Maybe the gas is old and lost its octane or whatever. I tried. Tales from the Crypt. So anyway, what else is going on? Nothing? You working today?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if there's an estate sale at 10 o'clock. I'm trying to decide if I'm probably gonna go, but if I want to go early and get in line, I have to be there like 9 o'clock. I have to leave in the next 15 minutes to get over there to get a number.
Sandy, she saw my thumbnail.
And by your thumbnail, are you meaning your actual thumbnail or a picture on
Yeah.
YouTube?
I put this
'Cause
on the
most of the time,
video.
all we see is a thumbnail and part of your other hand. Oh, is that in the thumbnail?
Yeah, I put a picture of that cuff on there. Sandy, you know anything about turquoise? Is this Kingman turquoise? Do you know Sandy Scott?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
She makes some really cool jewelry. It's fascinating to watch her.
I know.
I have none of those skills, or I'm not creative at all. I could never make anything.
She turns on that high-powered buffer, and I swear to God, I would get my hand caught on that thing, and just have to go to the hospital. And this is cleaning a B&B. Yeah, I can't really tell. This is a Navajo piece. What turquoise do the Navajo usually use, Sandy? She knows this stuff.
Yeah, here in Alabama, we rarely see that kind of stuff. There are plenty of native that we just don't see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, the farther west you go, the more you get into it.
Yeah, the only thing you see the Indians here are the Porch Creek Indians. They have a big casinos in South Alabama.
Texas Val, no, I'm so yeah, you can get this for yourself. It's for sale on eBay right now. It could be Kingman or Sleeping Beauty. Okay. These are different mine names.
Right.
Each turquoise mine has a different name, I think.
And so I guess they have a different look based on the composition of the minerals and
Yeah.
just the effects of turquoise color.
Yeah. It's a very typical color for turquoise that I'm familiar with. Sandy had some called White Buffalo. It was really good looking, I thought. Yeah, it's marked Sterling, Texas Val, and with the initials on the back, I identified the artist. So artisan, what do you call it? Artist.
So it's pretty interesting. And so for those you know about last year, you know what happened in Huntsville. I found myself the last couple of days missing old Dusty more than usual. I was looking for stores around the area, and Google said there's one, south of town, out by where his warehouse was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've been through there over and over. Surely it's not there. So I drove out there, and it's like 30 miles from here. There was a hardware store that had been there. The guy who's running it now, he graduated. I was talking to his wife. He was sitting in the office just nodding and working on paperwork. He graduated from Alabama in '74. I graduated in '91, so he's quite a bit older. And he was the third generation in this hardware store. She said, we've been a Western Auto, we've been an Ace, we've been a True Value, and now we're just an independent. And they still had a Western Auto and go kart. Let's see if I can get it. I had it on TikTok. The stuff that was in this store, man. I picked up some Corningware. It's a 1.5, some kind of country something pattern. It was still new in the box. When's the last time you saw Corningware? This that old pattern from the '80s sitting on a shelf.
Wow.
They had dust busters. They had all kinds of granite ware, all the stuff that you just never see new on the shelf anymore. Braun, the kind of mixers, the hand blenders. I looked at stuff that you look up on eBay and go, there's not been a new one on there for years. or it'll be a straggler every now and then. But I found these on the shelf. I know. Todd, you probably remember Presto in the '80s made a hot butter machine for popcorn.
Oh yeah.
You put the butter in it, and it kind of sprays it on the. It looks like a mixer, but it's got a spray tip on the end of it, and it sprays hot butter, melted butter on your popcorn. Um, I found they had one of those on the shelf, marked it for $5.
Oh wow.
What else did I buy in there? So Joni collects Pyrex, and they had one of the 4-piece bacon sets that was just a clear. And I called her. I'm like, "Do you want this? It looks like it's from the early '90s or late '80s. It's just two bacon dishes and then the round casserole." And it was $14 for the whole set. So she's keeping that one. There was Oster blender, replacement blender containers, but there was just all kinds of just amazing stuff in there that you've just never ever.
Yeah, Western Auto used to sell all kinds of stuff.
I mean, they had scooters and stuff in there that were from the '80s because I remember riding those kind of scooters at my grandparents' house when me and my brother were kids. The little battery powered ones. The first time around, they had all that plastic on them. They were a little wider than the ones are now. And I'm like, how? It took me Google searching and carrying on. I'm like, how did Dusty never find that store? Because that's
I don't know. He was such a good picker. He really didn't have to source much.
I hope Big Jim doesn't watch your show because Big Jim Bennett, I run into him every now and then. He and Ashley, they live about 2 miles from it.
Is he still reselling?
Yeah, he does. He focuses more on Amazon now than he used to do a lot more eBay, but he does more Amazon these days. Yeah, she had a health scare a couple years ago now. They had to remove a brain tumor from Ashley's, but she recovered and is doing well. So I saw them out. I was at a thrift store maybe 4 months ago. I ran into those guys. It was good to run into them, good to catch up and make sure to see that they were doing. But I mean, they had all the stuff you'd normally find in a hardware store. They still had all these, gas lamps and oil lamps and all the stuff that, you never see anymore, just hanging up everywhere and on shelves. They had models of weed eater gas blowers that, I've got from my grandparents and stuff that's they're still new in the box that nobody's ever used. I'm definitely going to go back. It was so old they had I guess a Speidel, the watch bands from the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, Speidel watch band.
They still had a display of those.
Did they have Twisto Flex written on them? They used to have an advertisement on TV that you could stick your finger in. You had the watch on your wrist, and you stuck your finger in the band and twisted. They called it a Twisto Flex. Mike doesn't like Jim anymore.
Yeah, he's a big liberal and that kind of. But I mean, I'm Mike. You're old enough, same as we are. You're old enough to remember. You can actually talk to people, spend time with people, and just politics is an issue, so just don't bring it up.
Yeah. He hadn't even done a video in a year and a half, has he?
It's been quite a while.
I mean, I'm probably still subscribed to his channel, but I don't think I've seen a video out of him in a long time.
And I had to explain to Harlan grew up in this area too. I had to explain to Harlan how to get to the store because Harlan's born and raised in Huntsville, outside of Huntsville here, and He'd never seen it or even been to it. So I guess I'll drag him to it one of these days.
Yeah. I can't believe Jim ever moved to Huntsville.
Yeah,
I
he
still,
actually lives in New Hope, which it's about 15 miles, 10, 15 miles outside of town.
I still couldn't believe when he did that, because it didn't seem like they had a lot of money to move with back then. Just to up and go.
Well, they were living in Raleigh, and Raleigh's one of the more expensive areas in North Carolina, and New Hope is very inexpensive Alabama, so they were able to buy a house large enough.
Oh, okay. So they bought a house.
Yeah, they bought a house
Okay.
outside town.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, it was just very interesting. You know, you pull up and you see you see it says hardware on the sign and nothing else. You can see where it used to say True Value, but they've taken that part off. And so one of a good bolo, if people are in stores, or they don't make the oops anymore. The solvent remover, or the solvent that removes like gum and that kind of stuff. Oops, the little bitty metal cans. And I've been looking for about, I don't know, a couple months trying to find some. And I was on the phone with my buddy Jennifer, and I'm like, holy shit, you're not gonna believe they got 10 cans on the shelf. So yeah, I got to list those on eBay today. Those little cans are worth $40 to $50 a can now.
Good grief.
Oops. Yeah. People find something they like, man. They're crazy. They'll spend just dumb money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, there was a couple other things I found in there. What was so Elmer's used to make a lubricant called Slidol, Elmer's Slidol. And that stuff's worth about $45 a can. They had 7 of those. And then another one called what's it called? Great Crack. What the heck's that stuff called? Let me look it up. I've got it on Amazon. It's a little yellow can too. Goodbye Cracks. They had 6 cans of Goodbye Cracks on the shelf. I've currently got it listed for $44.95 on Amazon. I've sold a couple this week already.
Wow.
That's another thing they had, Mike. They had 3 packs of the steam boost cleaners for the steam machine. I got $74 each for those 3, and they sold same day. I listed them on Amazon.
Sound like you bought half the store.
Yeah, I spent almost $400 in there. It was real nice to, I was the only one in there most of the time, and they were really nice couple. And that's the point I tell people, because you go in a lot of these places, you meet some of the coolest people, and they were so nice.
Yeah.
But I've sold quite a bit of that out of that store already.
Sound like you've already got your money back for the purchase. Somebody's cooking really hard in there.
No, Johnny the dogs finally got Johnny up so she'd feed him.
Thank you. Gwen just brought me breakfast. What is this? Egg and what? It's a frittata.
That's what I had yesterday.
Good stuff. Thank you, darling. Okay. Well, it's about 9 o'clock. I'm going to eat my breakfast, and thank you, Scott, for coming on. And thank everybody in the side chat for being here. I
Yes, sir.
think
Everybody, don't ignore these small stores. You just they're so much fun. You just never know what
yeah,
indie world that you'll find in them.
I think Queen City Picker's got the chat tomorrow. If you're not subscribed to Queen City Picker,
That scoundrel Tom.
yeah, that's Scoundrel Tom. So mom's making eggs, Lag says.
It was tomorrow Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow
Oh yeah, you got your show tomorrow.
on Wednesday mornings. Yeah,
I'll go back and watch them after they're over with.
yeah. I like Tom. He is a hoot and a half.
Yep. All right, we'll see y'all later. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see you next time, whenever that is.